All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Ryan James with The Path of Recovery, and as always, joined with my friend
Trevor Quist. How's it going, everybody?
And we'd like to thank everyone for your support and watching our videos and just helping us get a momentum off the ground.
Yeah, definitely.
To get this started. We believe in our movement that we're starting, and we just all around just want to spread positivity.
I think it's for a good cause.
Yeah, good
man.
cause. Yeah, for sure. It's something we can feel good about doing.
Yeah.
And we enjoy doing this. As nervous as we are when we go to start shooting these, we'll prep for like a half hour, 45 minutes.
Episode 1 had me just sweating, man.
Yeah, it's my turn now, man. I'm getting thrown on the grill next. Whipping it up, But, all right, well, you're the interviewer, man.
Well, shit. All right, so...
Well, crap.
All right, so a little bit of a recap from episode 1. We're not going to do recaps, like, all the time, but I just want to say that episode 1 was to kind of put the good portion of my story out there. So, since we do not have any guests lined up as of yet, and to get ahead while we're waiting for gear, just we're both going to put our stories out there so everybody understands where we're coming from and what we're doing. And other than that, I mean, I'm sure from the first episode, if you were there, we
covered a lot.
We covered a lot. We kind of got into a little bit of what our cause is, what we're trying to do, and raise awareness. And eventually, hasn't been spoken about. We haven't spoke about it yet publicly, but we want to get to a point where we're speaking to schools or, as a prevention instead of, right now, this is what we want to continue to do. But prevention is also a big thing too, and I don't think schools are taking the right steps in prevention.
No, as far as, well, from what I remember, I haven't really been in school in like 12 years, but
yeah, no.
When I was there, they explained what the drugs were, and that they were bad.
How they affected you? Like not.
Yeah, they told you how it fucked you up. Yeah. There's not enough people sharing their stories, and there's not enough people that. Hold on, I lost my train of thought. We're gonna delete that, but I think a lot of it, what it boils down to, is not enough people are aware of the exact dangers of real life stories from people that have lived it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, I heard a little bit of stories growing up, but it wasn't enough to prepare me for what I faced when I came across drugs.
And it wasn't really enough to deter me either.
No.
It wasn't
peer pressure
is stuff that stuck.
Peer pressure is a big problem.
It is.
When it comes to drug, most people, I would safely assume, start drugs or taking them because of a friend or a group of friends or a bad situation, bad timing.
Yeah, I think you're 100% correct, man. And I'm sure all of this, when we start speaking with more people here,
absolutely,
we're gonna cover all the aspects of why people use
and that's the whole point. I'm looking forward to learning.
Oh yeah, me too.
More, because I feel like I know a lot when it comes to that world.
Can't never stop learning.
Yeah, I'm just interested in hearing people.
Constantly learning.
Oh, absolutely.
If you don't use it, you lose it. That was a stupid...
Yeah. Well, no, like...
It's true, though.
As weird as it sounds, like I started doing meditation lately.
Yeah. I haven't done
because
that.
I learned through some videos that throughout the day, your mind processes thoughts that you're not even consciously thinking of. Right. And it stores them away.
Yeah.
And through meditation, you unlock certain doors, and you're able to process the information, whether it be good or bad. Because during meditation, like, you'll uncover some dark thoughts. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But that doesn't make you a dark person. It just, you weren't processing something at the time.
Right.
And it puts it away, and you can process it now. And I found music really helps with meditation.
I don't think I've ever tried like true meditation.
It's
But
amazing. And actually, I've been looking up yoga lately. Like, I haven't started it yet because, man, I can't even touch my toes.
Yeah, tell me about it.
But,
I started putting on weight now.
dude, it hurts to
hurts
bend
to
down
bend.
to fucking tie my shoe. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
But, yeah, all in all, I've been looking up, like, yoga and eating better and better in my life a little bit past that. And now that we've reached where I'm talking about better, and might as well backtrack to where
Backtrack a
all
little
this
ways.
all
and-
got started.
Yeah, so we should start with like I had started with. I was raised in a good place and
Yeah.
shit like that. I don't know if you want to touch that, but
Well, what I'll
But,
dive into first is I'll get into what my drug of choice was.
Yeah.
My drug of choice at first was opiates, and, well, heroin's an opiate.
Yep.
It started out with the small opiates, and then I progressed, and heroin was my drug
your
of choice.
go-to?
Yeah, it was my go-to. And crack when I came across it. But how it all got started, I was dating a girl. I lived out in Connor. We were, we hung out in a big group, of people. There was a
Sure.
bunch of us. And I remember the girl I was with, she'd snort pills.
Yeah.
When I first got with her, I knew that. It bothered me. Like, I didn't like it.
Right.
I was a new pot smoker at the time.
I think I remember back then when you didn't
Yeah, I didn't do nothing.
you didn't care about even smoking pot too much. Like,
Yeah,
you
it wasn't.
did, but it wasn't
Yeah, it wasn't. It was like, I don't care,
right.
if I get high today or not. It just wasn't in my mind. Like, I didn't have that thought process of wanting to use or anything.
Right.
I started, with pills, just doing hydros here and there. And then, what was it? I started dabbling in some bigger stuff, like once in a great while, you know what I mean? I get meth pill or something like that, whatever came down from Canada.
Yeah, yeah.
They look like little ice cubes,
Was that in the same period of time that everybody was drinking and partying?
It was a little
Or
bit
is that
after
a
that.
little bit
I had
after
just
that?
moved into a trailer
Yeah.
next door to
Yeah. I know.
her father's house.
Yeah.
And, we just did little things, It was never, ever a problem for me. I didn't realize her problem into it for a while. She would just complain about not feeling good, so,
Yeah.
I'd help out. But it became a problem when it was a couple years after that. Like, I had dabbled in stuff for a while, never got addicted. Like, it was just, I do it once in a while. And that continued on for a few years. And then,
So when you say that you weren't addicted, you mean like
I wasn't
you didn't wake up thinking that you needed it
Right.
again, or you could go days without thinking
right,
about it.
I wouldn't
or-
even think about it. I'd just do it if it was there or if it was
Okay.
around, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
It was kind of a recreational thing at the time.
Yep.
Until me and that girl had broke up. I had bounced around a few places. You were going through all that stuff with your eye.
Yeah.
We covered that in episode 1.
Yep.
Um,
There's a long gap between.
Yeah.
That's years in between.
yeah,
those
yeah.
two,
I was just
Yeah.
I would just do stuff recreationally.
Yeah.
Like, I never had a problem with it. I could pick up something one day and not even think about it the next day.
Right.
I was pretty good about that. Like, I was always real confident that I'd never fall into it. I
Yeah.
was like, man, I've been dabbing in this stuff in years and just never had a problem with it,
Right.
Right. Until me and that girl had broke up, I was drinking with a bunch of friends. I just moved into a new house with this short dude. I don't want to use names just in case, but
short dude.
I'm trying to think. You remember that time you were recording people out your window?
Yeah.
And they're all tweaking across the street?
Yep.
One of those guys.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So just hearing that horrible place, I shouldn't have moved in there. But,
yeah.
But I had just moved in there. We were doing a bunch of drinking, and I remember I had got pissed off because I found out, like, she had broke up with me saying, like, oh, we just needed a break for a little while, blah, I got to work on me.
Right.
Typical, like...
Yeah, the bullshit breakup.
Yeah, the bullshit breakup.
Yep.
But I found out that she was with some other dude. So I got pissed, and I hauled off, and I punched the floor. And I'm telling you, like, do not haul off and punch a hardwood floor.
No.
I shattered my pinky knuckle.
Yeah.
And I went to work the next day, and I worked all day driving the cab. My hand was all swelled up the size of a baseball glove. And I went to the hospital, got my hand all wrapped up and everything. They gave me a prescription of Perks, a decent amount too. So I wasn't going to take them.
Right.
Like, anytime I ever did pills, I was snorting them.
Yeah.
So I started snorting them. And after a while, like, my script would run up. I'd go and fucking get another one, do it. And then I'd wait the amount of time I needed to wait before I can go and get my next script,
Right.
I'd go and get another script.
Yeah.
Oh, my hand still hurts. I didn't recognize it at all as a problem.
Right. Yeah. That's how it starts, man.
And then it transitioned from, and I had smoked 30s before that, but on a recreational basis, so I wasn't doing it all the time. And then I remember my last script that I got of the Percocets, I traded all of them.
Yep.
For just a couple of Oxy 30s. Smoked those. I was smoking those.
Yep.
And I remember after that, I was spending like 90% of my check on 30s.
Yep.
And the guy I was getting them from inevitably got busted and went to jail.
Yes.
So there was a big shortage, like nobody could find them. And then I remember I was hanging out at a buddy's house. I was all sick because I didn't have anything. I was getting sick from not smoking them. Still wasn't even computing that I had a problem. So my buddy comes in. I'm like, man, dude, I really got to find something, man. Like, it's been a little while. Like, I feel like shit. Like, buddy just got busted. He's like, well, man, I can get some heroin. And in my mind, for as long as I can remember, I was like, man, that's one thing I'd never do.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll never end up doing that shit. Nasty, I always associated it with needles, so
Right.
I didn't know you can smoke it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, man, I don't really want to do that. It's a little bit outside of my comfort zone. I already smoke 30s, like, that's bad enough. He's like, nah, man, it's all good. It's even better. He's like, you'll do that, you won't even go back to the other stuff. Yeah. I was like, I'll do it this once. This dumbest thing I could ever said. I'm going to do this once. Yeah, it wasn't once.
No, the big problem with that shit, man, is it's stronger and it's cheaper than the prescription.
Yeah,
pills.
I was spending $60 per pill.
Yeah.
For the 30s.
Yeah.
$60. I mean, best $45. But most of the time it was $60. Everyone wanted to make $1.
Yeah.
So it was like $30 for a bag of heroin. That's what it comes in. It comes in little little wax looking bags. If you haven't seen them. And I remember he came in, he handed it to me, and it was like a ritual. I got my foil and stuff like that. Got ready, and I immediately, after my first couple puffs, it was like, wow, where has this been?
Yeah.
Like, that was my mindset at the time.
Right.
I knew after my first hit, dude, that I was fucked.
Yeah.
Like,
that was the same way, like I was saying when I had tried the intravenous,
yeah.
the first time. Same.
Yeah, it's
you know
it's not Like I even knew. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I even remember I only had taken a few puffs, and I passed out. You know what I mean? Like, I passed out right there with everything in my hands.
Right.
I'm like, fuck. So that's how that whole started. That's how I got into doing those drugs. It was all the time after that.
Yeah.
Once I did that first bag, it was done. Like, I was fucking doing everything I could to get money. And it wasn't even in bad ways. Like, I'd just go to work,
Right.
and I'd turn around and try and flip my money.
Yeah.
And that way I felt like I was doing stuff for free.
Yeah.
I still had money, and I had drugs, and I balanced that out for a while, until I started losing everything. All my stuff was being sold off so I can support my addiction. And I was real in the closet about it, so I wasn't going around asking anyone for money. Like, I never went around doing anything like that. I basically put myself out, sold all my stuff, right down to just having clothes. If I could have sold them to get drugs, I probably would have.
After you sold off your stuff, though, you never went looking for money from people you thought could help you? Or
No, not really. After that, it was just straight hustling. You know, like, I would try and push it for other people, you know. Either take a little for myself, or I would, help them, and I'd make a little bit of money off one deal. I'd help somebody else make a little bit of money.
Right.
And that's how I supported myself for a while, till I got into getting rid of it on my own.
Yeah.
I won't get too much into that.
No.
But the money dried up, my belongings dried up, my living situation dried up. My relationship went toxic with the girl I was with. And it boiled down to me staying in a trailer with some guy I barely really knew. I was dope sick all the time, like, because I was stuck in this stupid circle. I'd go 3 or 4 days without something, get something.
Yeah.
Start my jonesing process all over again. Feel like crap for a few days. And then get something. And eventually I was doing stupid stuff to not feel like shit. Like, I woke up in the morning, my legs felt like they got beaten by baseball bats. Like, I was throwing up, shaking, sweating. Like, I felt like I was dying, like, every day.
Yeah.
And
it's not a good feeling, and that's what keeps you. That's what keeps a lot of people like thinking they can't quit.
Yeah, because you go, like, some people, especially with Suboxone, you will go through the Jonesies for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Like, you'll sweat. Like, even after getting clean, there was random days where I just felt like I was jonesing for no reason. Like, it'd be like a payday or something. Yeah. And it's like,
yeah, 'cause you got money now.
I got money now. You know, I got anxious.
Yeah.
But I was staying in that trailer, and I remember a buddy of mine coming over, and I didn't have nothing. He's like, well, you want to help me out? And friggin', we'll make some meth, you know? So I was like, whatever, I don't give a fuck, dude, I'll help you. So we went and did that. I had a 2 or 3 day binge of doing meth and drinking vodka, and it was a nasty combination. Got to the point where I was talking about jumping people, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have this guy come out here, and I'll beat the shit out of him, we'll take his stuff. And at that moment, I didn't realize that what I was saying or doing, like, I was just completely lost. When I woke up from that bender, I remember the girl I was dating at the time was just sitting there. She was crying. And I came to, and I just had, like, this moment of clarity for, like, 10 seconds. And it was like, I fucked my whole life up, you know? I got this girl I barely know sitting here crying because I probably OD'd. I don't even know. So I called my dad. It's probably the smartest thing I could have done at that time. I picked up the phone. I called him. I was like, Dad, I got to tell you something. You know, I don't know how much you know, because he didn't know anything.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, I'm doing drugs. I'm doing everything I can get my hands on. I stuck myself with an EpiPen. I drank a bottle of NyQuil last. You know, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of waking up feeling like crap all the time. I got a hold of you right that same day, I believe, too.
I think so. I remember you had said something on Facebook Like,
Oh yeah, I had like a
a
meltdown.
random, yeah. And I messaged you, like, I hadn't talked to you in a couple of years.
Yeah. You were off doing your family thing. I was in Dark World.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like, I remember Ed. We had talked about him in the first episode. I remember when I first had moved out of his place, and he told me, don't go to the dark side.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he called it, the dark side.
The dark side. Yep.
And that's exactly what it is.
Oh,
it's nothing
that's
but
the
that.
best way to put it. It's
Yeah.
you don't realize it's the dark side at first.
Right.
You just think you're having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't realize that that's a whole different world.
Until you wake up and you're like, I fucked my whole life up. I don't have anything. I'm homeless. I'm with a girl I barely know. I have nobody. Nobody talks to me. If anyone talks to me, it's about drugs or owing them money or, it was just a horrible way to wake up. So like I was saying, that 10 seconds of clarity, got a hold of my dad, told him everything, got a hold of you, let you know what I was going through. And I remember my dad saying, well, find out if you can get into a rehab. So I researched it, and it would have taken a hell of a lot for me to get into a rehab.
I think
insurance.
I think I had told you about go to the hospital and tell them you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah, you brought that up, and I realized that was probably a good idea because
I had done it.
When you go to the hospital and you tell them that you're going to harm yourself, and if you let me walk out that door, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
And that's what I told them.
Yeah.
It wasn't true, but it was the fastest way.
It's asking for help, man.
Yeah, it was the easiest and fastest way that I can get into help immediately, because
Right.
rehab would have taken weeks.
Oh, yeah. It takes a long time.
To set that up, and I didn't have weeks.
No.
I was right at the end of it. It was, I'm going to fucking die.
Yeah.
I'm doing stupid shit now. So, went up to the hospital. I told them that I was on any drug that I can get my hands on. I failed for like 4 different things when they piss test me. And that's not including marijuana.
Right.
So, they knew that was the case, that I was troubled. And they brought in an AMHC worker, and I talked to her. And she's like, well, I can't get you into Fort Kent. I can get you into, like this little house thing over in Presque Isle. So I took it.
The little crisis center.
Yeah, I took it. They're like, you can only stay for 5 days. You don't have insurance, so that's probably the max you can stay. I took it. I went, and I got to say, like, that's an experience that I didn't enjoy it, but it was enjoyable, if that makes any sense. Like,
I know what you mean.
It wasn't a good place to be at, but it was a good place to be at. Like,
you feel safe there.
I felt safe. I didn't have my phone. They took all my possessions, but my clothing.
Yeah.
I was able to sleep.
Yeah.
I was able to eat. I was warm. I got to take a shower. As many showers. I must have taken 50 showers
Yeah, 'cause you were
like the
drying
5
out.
days.
Yeah.
I was drying out. I was sweating profusely. And the only thing that let me take is ibuprofen.
Yep.
And I don't know if it was a placebo effect or whatever, but anytime I took that 200 milligram of ibuprofen, it actually felt like it helped.
Yeah.
I sat and watched tons of CSI Miami, and you came to visit me, and
Yeah.
I was able to smoke cigarettes, which I couldn't have done in Fort Kent. That would have sucked. But
Right.
I took that 5 days. I dried out. When I came out, I still kind of felt jonesy, but not too bad.
It's all mind games
Yeah.
after that.
I had gotten out, and I went to go stay with my father. I had him come get me. My stepmom picked me up, too. And we ended up going to stay with my dad, me and my girlfriend at the time. And it was just a toxic environment. Like, I love my dad right to death. And his marriage situation just isn't the greatest. He's dealing with multiple somebodies, really, that have addiction problems.
Yeah.
And that's something that I dealt with my whole childhood, basically.
And this is somebody who doesn't believe that they have a problem.
Yeah. Yes.
But will fucking shoot you down because you're getting off of and bettering yourself.
She tried shooting me down all the time. I got a job. I was working 12, 13-hour shifts. We were flagging.
Yeah.
So we were gone a lot of the time. And the whole time I was at work, she just badmouthed my girlfriend at the time, about me, She was always telling my dad, oh, he's still using and this and that. And I didn't really care to defend myself when it came to her.
Right. It was pointless.
It was pointless. I was with you all the time. When I wasn't with you, I was at home. So I was under constant surveillance.
Yeah.
At least for the first 30 days.
That's why I felt like when I had brought you over to get the job at flagging, I thought it was good they put you with me.
Yes.
So
I was grateful.
You weren't out with anybody
random
else,
druggies. Yeah. And that was the biggest help, and I thank you a lot for that. You helped me transition from getting from a bad place to everything was hopeful again. I remember after getting the job flagging and staying clean it was close to 2 months, I felt like an energy that I hadn't felt in a very long time.
Feels good.
It felt good. I was getting high from life. I mean, I was smoking a lot of pot at the time, so I was high on pot. But that helped me a lot in my recovery, and pot did too. It helped with the sweats, the anxiety, the nausea. It helped me get into a regular eating habit again.
Yep.
It was a nice little crutch. I never went and I did go to AMHC a few times, but I told them straight up, I don't want no Suboxone. I don't want none of that. None of that. I'm not using fire to fight fire.
Right.
I knew it was a bad thing to begin with because I watched your experiences. I've watched experiences with other people with Suboxone.
Yeah.
And my beliefs with that stuff is a lot different than most people.
I think it's an unnecessary.
It's a way of trying to cover up a problem.
Right.
And saying you fixed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're addicted to drugs. Here's our drugs.
Yeah. Exactly.
And now you don't have a problem.
Yeah.
It shouldn't work that way.
No. And
I remember the first time I took Suboxone because I was going to use it to get clean one time. I was like, oh, I'll buy a strip and I'll break it down. And to be honest with you, someone that's got to take a full strip of that, the doctors are insane.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, if as bad of a drug problem as I had and taking an eighth of a strip, and it made me feel normal.
Right.
I wasn't high, I wasn't sick.
Yeah.
I just felt normal. And for an eighth of that to help somebody in as bad of a problem as what I had, I couldn't imagine a full strip to 2. They wanted you to take 2.
Oh yeah, I want to tell a bad story about the Suboxone while we're right here.
Yeah, do it.
When I was in rehab, there was a girl in there.
I work with her.
Yes, you do. She was on Suboxone.
Yep.
She, to me, seemed like she was serious about getting sober, getting clean. But they would make her take her Suboxone in front of them.
Yep.
So I don't know.
And they wanted her to take 2, right?
It was either 1 or 2.
Even still, one's enough.
Right, but I remember she would take her medicine, and then we would go to group. And in group, she would be, nodding off.
Oh, yeah, they just got her high.
Right. Well, we're outside smoking cigarettes one day, because we smoke there, go out in the little smoking area. And she wasn't out there. But somebody had come to pick her up. They kicked her out because they accused her of using drugs. I believe that's how it worked.
Right.
In the rehab. They kicked her out because she was nodding off on the medicine that they were giving her.
Yep.
And I don't know how that affected. I don't think I spoke to her.
I dealt with her after that. Yeah, she was a part of the circle that I dealt with for a while. But she's doing good now.
As far as I know, yeah.
She's doing good.
As far as I know, she's doing good.
Yeah. She doesn't even smoke pot.
That's good. I believe that's good because I did the same thing.
Yeah. It doesn't work for everybody.
Right.
I don't I'm an advocate for weed, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, don't get
I do not believe that if you don't need it.
Right. Yeah, don't
use it in large amounts.
Right. I would prefer somebody to smoke a joint over taking a pharmaceutical though.
Oh, easily.
If they can. Like I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, I
can't
can't
do it.
now.
Right.
I've recently got diagnosed with severe anxiety.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I know. I feel like that's something that comes down the line of
Getting clean.
getting clean.
When you
because-
get out of that pink cloud phase or
Yeah.
whatever they call that.
yeah, it
you
took
gotta
me like
deal with-
5 years,
yeah.
and then bam,
Yep.
I got
was-
anxiety that's
it was-
fucking me up.
Yeah, it was almost 3 years for me. And a lot of that has to do with when you take drugs or do a lot of drugs, or the hard drugs especially,
Ruins your
your
chemical makeup.
brain wires itself differently. It's like, well, I don't need to give you this chemical
Right.
anymore
Right.
because you got plenty of it.
Yeah.
So certain parts of your brain just shut down
Right.
and they don't produce chemicals that they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Dopamine, for example. You know, like anyone that hasn't used, say it's Christmas and you get something you've wanted for a very long time, and you just feel that
joy.
that joy,
Yeah.
like it's that joy that's like in the center of your chest. You get excited.
Yeah. You lose that.
Unfortunately, you lose that. You do hard drugs like we have. I could walk out and there could be a brand new car out there. Yeah, I'm grateful, so happy.
Yeah. But
You don't feel the internal
right.
joy of it
Yeah.
because our brains are wired differently.
The first time in a long time that I felt joy of any kind is starting this. Like, I cried about it
No, me too.
when, like, because I feel like we're doing something good. I'm
Yeah.
happy about it. Like,
We didn't
Genuine-
realize how big of a deal it was until we talked about it
The-
and got set up
the
for
last
it.
time I cried, like, out of happiness was when my daughter and son was born.
Right.
And, like, I lost it then, but I'm fucking doing it now. Like,
Yeah.
fuck!
No, it's a big deal.
Yeah,
This is very important to us. We talked about it a little bit, and I think this was inevitably the road that we were going to end up on eventually in terms of
Maybe we
what
went
we
down
wanted
that
to do.
road for a reason, man.
Yeah.
Well,
Everything
you know.
happens for a reason.
Yeah.
As shitty as a drug addiction is, your life's not over.
Right.
And you could make something great from it. I went through a real rough time there, and I was addicted real hard. But I learned a lot from that experience. As
Yeah.
more now getting clean, do I look back and learn more about myself in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But all right, so I got clean. I got out of that. No, it's all good. It's a whole part of a talk show.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I got clean. I got out of the house. I was living with my parents. Did flagging.
Toxic shit.
Yeah, it was nonstop toxic. I was dealing with cops like every other day from my stepmother calling them on me, and it was always for. I didn't even do anything. It was just like I don't want him living here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I was paying rent to stay there, so they're
She
like,
would sell your shit.
"Oh, she stole my Xbox."
Yeah. That you bought.
Still
like-
to this day, she believes that I didn't pay for that.
Yeah.
Um,
You have a 4-wheeler sitting there, too.
that's over half paid off. I mean, I've done enough work to really pay it off, but
Anyways, that's all.
it
Yeah.
is what it is. I hold no grudges.
Right.
But yeah, I went through all that stuff. From there, I moved in with. We had a real toxic night one day, and it got heated to the point where me and my dad were like right in each other's faces, and they called the cops and all that. And I remember I moved in with my ex's stepdad and mom, and I got a good job at Lucerne when I was staying there.
During any of this time, was there, like you had asked me, was there any points where you felt the urge to start using again?
No.
No.
Once I got clean, I was so motivated about staying clean and just not being. I was just happy to not feel like I got run over by a truck.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so
That's a good feeling.
every morning I woke up and just feeling normal. I was grateful.
Right.
So yeah, did I miss the high? Yes. Do I probably still miss the high? Yes. I'm not gonna lie to you. If we're gonna be honest, like, yeah, there's no feeling better than what I was doing then. but it's not.
It's not worth
It's
it.
not natural,
Right.
and you're not supposed to feel that way.
Right. Yeah.
And it turns you into a monster. I was a monster at the end of it. Like I barely recognized who I was.
Yeah.
At the end of it. But
It's
like
an
I
awful-
said,
it's an awful feeling.
when I got clean, I didn't think about it. I didn't want to do it. Like I was just looking forward to the future.
Yeah. Good.
I mean, I did something along the way. You know, I had a real rough day. I was working at a mill up in Ashland, and I was like 27, 28 miles away from my house. I lived in Washburn. I was working in Ashland. And I remember finding out that the girl I had been with and had a kid with, she was sleeping with my best friend that was up there. And we worked right next to each other. So I got real pissed off. I remember blacking out and talking to my boss and being like, I'm going to fucking kill this guy if you don't let me go home.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a ride. My phone just died. Like, I walked from the mill in Ashland all the way to Washburn. I walked 26, 27 miles. And I don't remember the walk too much. I just remember being real pissed, heartbroken, felt lied to.
This was right after your son was born.
Yeah. And I had a buddy staying with me at the time. I knew it was a bad idea to really have him around, and I ended up kicking him out like shortly after. But he was there. I came in, and I remember just fucking bawling my eyes out when I got back because I was like, "Why the fuck does this keep happening to me? Like, I'm a good person. I fought hard. Like, why? I don't deserve any of this, you know." And well, he was smoking meth. I didn't even realize he had it, and I was like, "Fuck it, whatever." And I did it that night. And I remember waking up, or I didn't fall asleep. I remember laying there at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and just having like the biggest anxiety panic attack I've ever had in my life. Like I couldn't breathe, you know?
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Like I thought I was dying. Like I thought my body just finally gave up on me. And it scared the living shit out of me. I didn't touch it after that. Nothing. I was like, no, I can't. That was fucked.
Yeah.
But so after
Couldn't do it.
I really never had any cravings or nothing. Like in the back of my head, yeah, I know that I miss the feeling. I don't miss the actions. I don't miss being in that lifestyle, and all that is in the pros
Right.
section. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? The only thing in the con section is just missing the high.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like everything else is overweighs that
Oh yeah.
way more.
Yeah.
So, and that's just how that goes. Like anybody that's gotten clean, I mean, if they are gonna be 100% honest, they're gonna tell you they miss the high.
Oh yeah.
They don't miss the lifestyle
Right.
or the stuff they went through.
Right.
But you gotta at least admit that.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
after that, I bounced around place to place to place. And that's pretty much how it's been for the past couple of years. Like I'm still bouncing around now, dealing with ex issues.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful and hopeful still. I got a lot of good people in my corner. I'm working with AMHC. There are a bunch of good people over there.
I think something that you needed when you started to get clean, when you started this path, was you needed help, like working your way back into.
Yeah, integrating back into
yeah.
society.
Yeah.
I just haven't been stable. That's the biggest problem. I had stability when I had that job at the mill and had an apartment.
Right.
I bought a van.
Yeah. You were.
Never went and got it.
Yeah.
Like I paid $500 for a van. It's still sitting up in Ashland.
Yeah.
Because after all that, I was, dude, just fuck it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna start over. I've done that so many times. It's probably unnatural. But I'm working with housing. I'm working with the AMHC right now. There are a bunch of good people over there. Like if you really want help, they'll help you.
Yeah.
They'll do what they can to help you.
Right.
And yeah, everything will go good. Struggles are And I've struggled every day
Makes you
since.
a stronger person, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you can get through it without turning back to your old ways,
Oh,
you're
absolutely.
a stronger person for it.
Absolutely. To be going through what I'm going through now and not even think about using,
Yeah.
that's great. I feel accomplished, like, for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like, I think it was the last episode you were talking about statistics and how easy it is. The longer you go without using, the easier it is.
Right. Yeah.
I
think it was
most
like-
definitely agree with that.
What was it? I can't remember. Within 1 year, 2/3? Was it 2/3? I can't remember. Of people go back to using.
Yeah.
And,
After 5 years, it's like less than 15%.
15%. Yeah.
That's pretty good numbers.
Right.
I feel like a good movement and what we're doing here. If we can reach enough people, I think we can create the awareness to help prevent or help bring up the number of people not relapsing.
Right. I wanna hopefully have people here telling their stories, like I was saying at the beginning of last episode. Like, I feel like I went through hell. You are going through hell. Just think of somebody has gone through way worse.
Oh, absolutely. It's kind of like there's always a bigger fish. Well, there's always somebody that's going through a lot rougher time than you are.
Oh yeah, and I'm hoping that we can hear stories from people like that.
Oh, absolutely.
So that
I want to have recovering addicts. I want to have family members of people that weren't themselves on drugs,
but
they had a loved one or someone they were close to pass away.
Right.
Because there's going to be a lot of sad stories with that. Like, luckily, I didn't have to deal with that so much.
Right.
I did lose a couple of friends due to overdoses, a couple family members due to alcoholism or overdose.
Yeah.
But I haven't had, like, somebody that I was best friends with or a sibling. I have siblings right now struggling with addiction. And I love them right to death. Don't get me wrong. But when somebody's that far gone into something and they don't want to get help,
right, they don't,
or
think
they
there's a
lie
problem.
about getting help, or they don't feel like there's a problem, there's nothing I can do for you.
No, you can keep
can
kind of
support
planting
you,
the seed,
and tell you, hey, once you get clean, like, we'll go to the movies, like, we can hang out, we can do all this stuff, but while you're using, I can't.
Right.
Because whenever I have you to my house, you fucking steal everything, man.
Yeah.
Like, if it ain't nailed down,
Yeah.
Where's my fucking laundry quarters,
Yeah.
And that's,
I
again,
mean.
I'm not angry at them. I'm
Well, you can't be,
angry. I'm angry at their addiction.
Yeah.
And the fact that they don't believe they're better,
Right.
or that they're able to get help.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing. Like,
I've heard from people who are really in a bad spot, but they almost brag about it, like about using, like, oh, I just did this.
I think it's a way of making themselves feel better about the.
Yeah,
I know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Hey, if I'm real cocky and act like how awesome it is, and they're agreeing with me, then it must be.
Right.
Yeah. Just that one person thinks it's cool, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But and I feel bad for the type of people that don't have anyone to turn to.
Oh yeah.
There's people out there that the only people that are around, or their parents even, are drug addicts. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't mean there's no hope.
Right.
There's good
always
people
somebody.
out there.
There's always somebody there. Turn to a group of sober people.
Yeah.
Sober strangers, like you said before.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Join a Facebook group.
Yeah.
Of recovering addicts.
There's some really
Join
big
our
groups.
group,
There's we have a small group right now.
Yeah, it's small, but it will grow. And I want to hear people post, like,
yeah,
oh, I've gone this long.
Yeah,
well,
just
fucking congratulations, man.
Yeah, to see one post that it makes other people feel good that you're doing good, and then it keeps piling on. Things can't be done alone.
Yeah, no, and you can't do it alone, and you shouldn't do it alone.
No.
You know,
Absolutely.
it's a pandemic.
Yeah.
It like you were saying, it affects everyone. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter who you are, how much money you got, what your race is,
No, it doesn't.
how tall you are, how much
It's an
you weigh. It
equal
doesn't
opportunity
matter.
destroyer, man.
Yeah, yep. That's probably the best way of putting it.
Yeah.
And I don't wish that on anyone. Like, having a drug addiction is like the worst.
Yeah.
When you're in it, you don't give a fuck.
No.
You know what I mean? I was doing stuff that, dude, I could have died,
Oh yeah.
or ended up in jail for like 30 years, and then I would have been clean in there going,
What the fuck did I do?
what the fuck did I do to myself? You know?
Yeah.
And then I got to live with that for that
Yeah.
long. I'm just, knock on wood and everything. I'm grateful that I came out of it. I mean, yeah, I deal with all this bouncing around and all that.
Right.
But, dude, I could be dead.
Yeah.
I could be in jail.
Yeah. It could be a lot worse. It could be. Yeah. I don't
You know,
know. It's
I'm here. I'm sitting here. I'm breathing. I'm trying to help other people.
makes you feel good.
Yeah. And
That's
it's
it.
you almost get a high from it. And it's a natural way of your body being like, dude, you're doing good.
It's it goes back to like what we were talking about when you lose that joy
Yes.
in things like helping somebody
Mm-hmm.
or the feeling of helping people is just you get that feeling back.
Yeah.
That in your gut, in
yeah.
your chest. You get that
absolutely.
feeling back.
And that, I just can't wait to start having guests. It's going to be nice to have people come in and talk about their experiences. If you yourself are interested and you'd like to come out,
Call us.
just give a call,
Message
send
us.
a message. Yep. And we will definitely work it out so we can have you come in. We do hour shoots. A lot of it, you've seen it, like, told a story, but we had tons of filler in there, you know what I mean? Adding context.
we could sit here with somebody if they want to talk for 4 fucking hours. I'll sit here.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
I'll sit here for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just wanted to introduce ourselves and what our addictions were and kind of introduce you to us and what we've been through. That way, because we won't have to explain it too much. Once we start having guests, we're not going to have to really explain too much about ourselves. We're going to be sitting there trying to learn about the other person.
What they went through and I don't know. There'll be points where gaps in our stories. I left so much out.
Oh, me too.
You left a lot out, and over time things are gonna get filled in. And
Oh, absolutely. And that was kind of the whole point.
right.
We wanted to. We shot these episodes back to back. Yeah, I'm wearing a different shirt, but that's for continuity.
I didn't do that.
Yeah,
I'm wearing the same shirt.
you are, but that's okay.
I don't
He only
care.
owns like 2 shirts.
Yeah.
All this equipment.
Oh shit. I don't even buy teeth.
Yeah, he didn't even buy teeth. Fucking greedy asshole.
I buy equipment. I buy equipment for this, and teeth will come in the future.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Please donate teeth.
Anyways, I don't know. We'll wrap up this episode.
Yeah,
Pretty
Yeah.
good. It's I'm glad you guys stuck around. If you did, if you we're going to come out with more content weekly. I don't know exactly how we're gonna go about the Patreon, but
we'll keep everybody posted.
we'll open that up eventually with some perks for patrons, and
Yeah.
the majority of the proceeds from that will go towards helping like the local rehab,
Yep.
and the crisis center
Yep.
and places that need the money.
And for all those listening that are recovering, keep recovering, stay strong,
There's always
and you
somebody
can
out there
do
for you.
this.
Yeah.
And for all those that are struggling and our brothers and sisters that are going through tough times and they don't feel like they have a way out, you can do it. Hang in there, and you are very important. Every one of you are important, and you should know that. And if you need a safe place to go, find it. If you have trouble finding it, and
Go to
just-
a Facebook group or something.
yeah, go to a
and ask.
Facebook group and ask. There is no shame and admitting you have a problem
Yeah.
and getting clean.
There's
'Cause-
plenty of people that will
When you get
step up.
clean, you will be surprised of how many people will be proud of you.
Oh yeah.
Um,
How many people will come out of the woodwork to
Yeah.
support you
yes.
that you didn't
Absolutely.
even think would ever support you, or that you didn't even know?
Yep. And you just don't realize it because you're in that bad way.
Yeah.
But every person's important. Not one person is more important than the other. You can recover. You can do it. And I hope that our stories and our guest stories really help people in the long run. That is the whole point of doing all of this.
Yeah.
And we just want everyone to know that. And, I love what we're doing, and I want to, I want to help people.
I want to. Did we speak about it this episode, or was it last episode that? It was the beginning of this episode. I'd like to get to the point of going and speaking.
Oh, absolutely.
That way, people who aren't here, or when I say here, like in the podcasting thing, like a lot of people that won't find us on Apple or
Right.
YouTube or Facebook or Google or, go help and speak to the local schools statewide. I don't know how to go about doing that, so
Yeah. I think we'll figure it all out in the
Well,
long run.
yeah,
It will be easy. I think speaking in person will be the important part.
right,
Like going and meeting with these people,
yeah,
showing them our podcast.
yeah,
I'm going to pitch it to AMHC. Like when I go see them Monday, I'm going to give them our
well, I know what
page.
we're doing, man, and
Yeah, I will. Because
'cause
they
I
know
know-
plenty of people.
I know people are going to them for help, but maybe the word of somebody who's been through it will
Yeah.
be what pushes them to really wanting to continue on the
Absolutely.
path of recovery.
And, well, I guess that will be it for us for today. I'm Ryan James with The Path of Recovery, with
Uh-huh.
always.
And I'm Trevor Quist, and can't wait to see you guys in the next one.
And thank you for joining us. Take care.